Hey everyone, it's Anna. Welcome back to my booktube channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I thought that I would make a video today just a little bit about what I have been currently reading. I moved recently across the country. Reading has been kind of all over the place, but I have a few books that I've started recently that I want to go ahead and chat with you about. So these are all, just first impressions of these books. I'm not that far into them, and hopefully, if I can if I can manage to remember to do this, I'll follow up on what my thoughts were about them. So starting things off with Everything and Less, the novel in the Age of Amazon by Mark McGurl. This is a nonfiction work of literary criticism that's published by Verso. They're like a left-leaning socialist small press. And this is a book that I was curious about reading because it is about the development of the novel, which is a topic I've been really interested in for a long time. The book is basically arguing that the trajectory of this art form in the 21st century is inextricable from the rise of Amazon as this multinational corporation. I don't agree with everything I'm reading in this book, but it is very thought-provoking, and even the things that I do disagree with the author about is helping kind of sharpen my own thoughts about the situation, which I always appreciate from a book. And in case you couldn't tell, I have sticky tab annotated tons of different things, and I'm just about halfway through it. So, good read. Next up is a novel that is one of my most anticipated books this year that I didn't actually know was coming out, and that is Moonbound by Robin Sloan. So Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore is this author's debut. That's my favorite contemporary written novel of all time, period. This is another one that continues in the tradition of weird, fantastical storytelling with a glow-in-the-dark cover. This is kind of a sci-fi fantasy epic, maybe, that's even delving into the idea of what makes stories themselves and what constitutes a story and a myth. I'm not that far into it. My husband and I are actually reading it together, so I have hit pause briefly to give him a bit of a chance to catch up, since I kind of went into a fugue state and read 100 pages without coming up for air. Oops. But I am loving it. I am loving how much he has grown as a writer since I read Penumbra and Sourdough. And yeah, this has just been an absolute treat to read. Recently, I got my new library card, and one of the first books that I've checked out was Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrane. She is a Pacific Northwest author who writes a lot of queer romance stories, and this is one about two women who are teachers at the same high school that they attended when they were young and closeted and feeling out their own feelings for each other. They have since formed kind of this rivalry because they hate each other's guts, because they, basically broke each other's hearts when they were in high school. And they are getting together to take their high school English teacher, who is dying of terminal cancer, on the final road trip of a lifetime. They call it the death road trip. The subject matter in this is pretty heavy. She warns you at the front that the parental figure in the book is gonna die on the page. So I knew that going in, but I think it's helpful to know that, and it won't be a surprise. But I am looking forward to continuing to read this. Having just done the cross-country road trip thing, albeit not because someone was about to die, but because I was moving, reading this definitely stressing me out more about that than anything else. But it's very funny, and I like the characters a lot. So I'm gonna keep enjoying that. This is a new book that I bought at Red Emma's, which is a bookstore here in Baltimore, and it is 78 Acts of Liberation, Tarot to Transform Our World by Lane Smith. This is a new sort of guidebook towards reading and interpreting different tarot cards. The author is an activist and organizer, but also makes a tarot and politics zine. They did a book event around here that I wanted to go to, but I wasn't able to. And the whole book is organized around the different numbers in the tarot deck and interprets them through the lens of modern day protest movements and activist movements. So each of the writings has some questions for reflection. It's got some information about the historical background behind what the author is comparing the card to. I'm really enjoying it. I'm kind of dipping in and out of it. It's not really the kind of book that I'm reading cover to cover, but it is very good. And last but not least, Witch Hat Atelier Volume 12. This is a manga about witches that cast their magic through like penmanship, drawing, writing, that sort of thing for spells. It's so adorable. It's so much about friendship. I mean, because this is the 12th volume of a manga, I can't really get into too much about the plot. This one is very dramatic. It has a very sort of like thrilling, dangerous plot line very early on. I'm about halfway through this volume. I already can't wait for volume 13 to come out in January. I would definitely recommend this if you're interested in reading a gorgeously drawn and very sweetly written story about friendship and magic. The girls in it are very cute and sweet, but it is not a fully cutesy and sweet story. They do deal with some pretty like intense themes, but I really, really love this series so much. It's always a treat to be able to return there. So that's what I've been reading recently. Let me know down below what you have read and enjoyed, or read and absolutely loathed, because that's always kind of an interesting conversation too. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.